Do you have to live a certain way? Do you have to come from a certain background? Do you have to practice certain things in order for you to practice Kemetic spirituality? That's what we're going to discuss here today. At the Boo Peace and Blessings, this is Derric RauKhu Moore, and in this video we want to discuss who can and who cannot practice Kemetic spirituality. Now, let me go ahead and start by saying, part of the reason why I'm doing this video is because, oh my gosh, there was people that hit me up, and I mean, I got cussed out. Oh, who gives you the right to go ahead and tell who can practice Kemetic spirituality? Who made you the authority? You know, I mean, there was all kind of hateful, messages that came across, in regards to this. And I would have taken offense to it, but I understood why it came across. But like I said, I would have taken offense to it if it was me who was doing it, okay? But it wasn't me. It's not me, okay? I'm just basically, like I said, I'm a messenger, okay? But apparently, some people didn't get that message. They're not understanding what that message was. So let me go ahead. We're going to try to clarify what we mean by this, okay? So who can and cannot practice Kemetic spirituality? First of all, anybody can go and get a book or books on the Kemetic history, the Kemetic legends. You can go get, forgot the lady's name, who wrote this book. But it is the Encyclopedia of Spirits. I think that's what it is. Or Encyclopedia of Deities. I think it's Encyclopedia of Spirits, by Judith something. I can't remember her name. I'm sorry. But you can go get that book and you can read all you want about the Neteru, okay? You can read as much as you possibly can about the Neteru. You can memorize it all you want, and that's because the Kemetic people did not leave anything that said only these people can practice and only these people can do this, or these people can't practice, these people can. They didn't leave anything like that. This is not Christianity, people, okay? It's not any of the Western religions. It's not Judaism, it's not Christianity, it's not Islam. This is not it's not a what do you call it? There are no rules when it comes to who can practice the Kemetic religion, or who can practice Kemetic spirituality, okay? So, like I said, when some of these comments was coming to me, I could get offended, but it's like, I don't make up the rules, people. I didn't make this up. I didn't say anything. I don't have authority to say you can't do it because, hey, this is how you live, or this is your complexion, or this is your ethnic background, and I can't say that, okay? It's not my right, all right? You can do whatever you choose to do, all right? But, okay, here it comes. Here comes that caveat. But, when I said it is the ancestors that make a decision, that say yay or nay, it's the ancestors. Okay. Now, when I said that before, I think it flew over people's head. Okay. And the reason why is because we're in a society, a Setian society, a very secular society, ran by, governed by Set. Okay. Governed by, it is totally ego driven. We're in a society where anything goes based upon the number of people who saved. This is what we're for. It has nothing to do with if it's right or if it's wrong, if it's truth or if it's, untruth, if it's balanced, if it's imbalanced. Has nothing to do with that. It's all about gratifying your lower self. That's the society we live in. People basically go ahead and they pick and choose whatever they want to do based upon what they like, what they don't like. Okay? And to show you how twisted it is, a lot of people go ahead and say, okay, well, hey, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual, but you bring that whole religious mindset with you. And as soon as someone says something, as soon as someone says, hey, you're not getting the desired results because you're not living spiritual, well, what do? You go ahead and you jump out of it. You drop out of it because they didn't tell you what you didn't want to hear. They didn't tell you what you like, okay? Or they told you something that you didn't like, all right? So that's the reason why I said, I don't make the rules, people. I'm just telling you what the ancestors, for what I know based upon my relationship with my ancestors, based upon the relationship I have with my spirits, this is how it works, okay? Because when you get into Kemetic spirituality, right? You get into Kemetic spirituality, eventually you find out that your ancestors are the ones who are supporting you on the other side. Okay? Now, if you say you're in Kemetic spirituality and you have not had that connection, that's because you're still on that base level. You're still on a very low level. All right? I'm not trying to knock you. I'm not trying to go ahead and throw shade on you. And I'm definitely not trying to say, oh, I'm all that, because that is not what I'm doing. Okay? Don't get it twisted. What I'm trying to get you to understand is when we talk about levels of consciousness, okay, if you think about it from this perspective, and this is what I've explained this before, if Ra is the source, okay, the source of this, and there's 10 levels, 10 Necharu, okay, go back and think about the tree of life, okay, there's 10 Necharu, the 10th one being Set. And if you're talking about, hey, what you can't do, or you're not liking something and you're not able to see beyond that, that's where you are. That's where your consciousness is at. You're sitting up here and you're concerned more about, identifying with your, with your skin complexion, your race, your ethnicity, your sexual preference, whatever it may be, your sexual orientation. You're identifying with that, which is a very, very, very low level. It is the Setian level. It is the 10th. It's the 10th dimension of the tree of life. That's where your awareness is at. That's why you can't see beyond this. That's why you cannot see that it's the ancestors that support you on this. So you can practice as much as you want, but the real power ain't gonna come. It's not gonna kick in until you raise your, elevate your consciousness, elevate your awareness. And in order for you to elevate your awareness, in order for you to elevate your consciousness, you got to go ahead, you got to start cutting off some of that. You got to start cutting that ego. You got to start cutting Set off. You got to start fighting stuff. You got to stop with all this BS of doing things based upon, I don't like that they said this, and recognize if it's the truth, it's the truth. Suck it up and deal with it. That's what it means to deal with things from a Kemetic spiritual perspective. Okay? Again, I'm not telling you what to do. Okay? I thought that's what it was about when I first got into it. Oh, because I was, I don't want these people to be, and I don't want that, and I want, man, please, I don't control this. I don't govern this. Okay? Don't govern it. I don't have a say-so in any of it. It's your ancestors that do. Okay? So, you can choose to go ahead and do whatever it is because, hey, this society tells you, yeah, hey, you're in the right to do this. You can do it as much as you possibly can. Okay? But I guarantee you, like I said, take it from experience, because your boy has had his run-ins. I've had my run-ins and hit that wall countless number of times. I got to do it my way, and I got okay, all right. Again, you're gonna find out if you're really into the Kemetic spirituality. You're gonna find out. Our ancestors were brilliant, but they put locks on stuff. I mean, literally, there are spiritual locks on certain things. I give you an example. Okay, this is what comes to mind. This is, they're telling me this. This is something that comes to mind. You ever get one of those books? It's like, oh, it's one of those esoteric books. And it's a deep book, and you get it and you start reading it, and it makes totally no sense whatsoever. None. And what happens to it? That book ends up sitting on your shelf, and then maybe a year, 2, 3 years pass by, and you go back and you look at it. Oh, that makes sense. There you go. Who do you think did that? Who do you think put that block on that? Okay? That was your ancestors. That was the ancestors and spirit guides that was like, you ain't ready for this. I don't care what everybody else says. You ain't ready for it. And that's what they do. They would straight up put a lock on something and be through with it. Okay? And so, because you gotta understand, that's what I'm telling you, there is beauty in this. But it makes you humble yourself. But you gotta understand, time doesn't exist in the spirit realm. This is an illusion. This is some junk that was made here in this plane. Time and space doesn't exist in spiritual plane. So if they put a lock on something, you think they care how long it's going to take for you to go ahead and get it? No, they do not. Okay? They don't care, because it's not affecting them. All right? You could be sitting around here for 5-10 years going around in circles. To them, they looking at it like, oh yeah, okay, you 10 days is over with now. Go ahead. Let's let them see it now. Okay? So like I said, let me be clear. Let me, because I know I'm rambling in regards to this and ranting in regards to this. I don't make up the rules, people. Okay? Family, I don't make up the rules. All right? All I'm telling you is that your ancestors, okay, and I ain't talking about, grandma and granddad. I ain't talking about them. Peace and blessings be upon them. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about your ancestors, the ones you do not know. All right, the ones that connect you back to certain things. Okay, the ones that go in here and they tie you back to that. Because here's another thing, and this is something that just popped into my mind about this. Some of us are on this path because there was an ancestor that was on this path, And they focused and they was on it and they was on it. And they couldn't get there. They couldn't, for whatever reason, they couldn't make that connection. But they was like, hey, guess what? Next lifetime, okay? We're going to get it, all right? Because spirits only remember what they focused on in the lifetime. So there's an ancestor that went in here and they was on that. So do you think that ancestor that was on there, that ancestor that was focused on that, and they're like, hey, I'm going to do this. We're going to do this, okay? Here it is. They come back, their descendant comes through, and their descendant, well, I want to go ahead and I want to live this way, and I want to do it this way. After they've gone ahead and they've put in the work, do you think that their ancestors are going to be like, yeah, let me support you? Heck, freaking no, okay? Get real, all right? You wouldn't even support anybody who does that in your lifetime or in this lifetime. So why would you expect your ancestors to do the same thing, okay? There's a certain way of doing things. And like I said, this is the reason why. This is one of the beauties of Kemetic spirituality. But the ancestors don't care about what's going on in this society in regards to what people want to do and what people say is the right thing, and they don't care about that, okay? They see things from a different perspective, all right? They understand balance. They understand the Ma'at. And they know if you don't live according to a certain way, guess what? You are going to be stuck on, I'm about to say stuck on stupid, but you're going to be stuck on that, stuck on go. You just going to be there. Like on that Monopoly board. You can't go nowhere else. It's just stuck on go, stuck on, you know what I mean, okay? But you can't go anywhere because they're not supporting you, all right? So, don't get it twisted, family, okay? Let me say it again. I don't make up the rules for this, all right? I'm just telling you based upon my experience, based upon what I've seen, and based upon individuals I've dealt with, but definitely based upon my experience. If there's a certain way they say, hey, guess what? You got to live this way in order for you to go ahead and get to this level, in order for this to work, in order for this to happen, you got to do it. Or you settle for what you got, okay? Now, as I've stated before, if you're not able to understand that, if this is, is going, I'm speaking around you, okay? This is over your head, okay? It's because you ain't ready for it, all right? You're on that base level. You identifying with, your lower self, okay? Because it comes a point in time we got to put it to the side, all right? We got to put it to the side, and we got to remember, you're a god or a goddess, okay? Not all the other stuff that people go ahead and talk about. You're a god or a goddess. You came here to raise your consciousness, to basically elevate yourself, to strengthen or sharpen your spiritual metal. That's why you're here. But if you're going ahead, you're here and you're thinking, oh, you just here basically just to mess around and all that kind of stuff, do whatever you feel like doing, but yet you want to go ahead, you want to be spiritual, but you ain't about that life. Okay? You're like, again, you'll see that brick wall. Okay? I'm not trying to scare you or anything. I'm just letting you know. If you're running around in a circle and you're confused, remember, Set is the author of confusion. Okay? Set is the author. Set is the Lord of chaos and confusion. Okay? So, How do you get out of that? You gotta elevate, okay? And let me say this, and then we're gonna bring this to a close. How do you elevate? Okay, how do you elevate? We talked about this before. How do you elevate yourself? How do you raise your consciousness? Okay, how do you know? Well, first of all, when you go ahead and you feel, if I'm saying something, okay, or anyone for that matter, you hear truth, you know it's truth. All right, I don't have to tell you. I don't have to beat you over the head and tell you, oh, it's truth. You don't have to, you don't have to email me or ask people and all that kind of stuff. Is this the right thing? You know truth, okay? You know my eye. My eye is clear, okay? When my eye goes ahead, and I'm talking about the nature, when she comes to you and says, boom, here's truth, okay? There's one or two things that's going to happen. This is when you see Ampu. Ampu's going to be like, okay, are you going to live it? Are you not? That's the whole scale thing. Are you going to do this? Are you going to go ahead and live it? Are you going to let this thing go ahead, and bring and be heavier than the feather? Or are you going to go ahead and you're going to flip it the other way and you're going to do the right thing? That's what Ampu is about. That's what he's asking. Okay? So if Ma goes ahead and brings it and says, hey, this is truth, Ampu's going to go ahead and be like, okay, let me test you. Let me see if this is truth. If you're going to do this or if you're not. Oh, you ain't going to do it? Okay, well, all right. Here you go. You're going to round back down there and you can keep going ahead and having that torment. That's what that Ahmed monster is about. You're going to be tormented. Oh, okay, all right. Which is basically a state of confusion. That's all it is. Okay? It's not until you decide, oh, let me go ahead and do the right thing. I hear that voice talking. I hear Seth telling me, okay, but this is truth. But Seth's going ahead and telling me, go this direction. Oh, but I don't give you all kind of excuses. Give you all kind of reasons why you shouldn't do what you know is the right thing to do. Okay? What you know, because it vibrates with you. My eye vibrates with you. All right? So you don't have to ask me to convince you to justify what you think and what you believe. No. This ain't that. We're not in. This is not Christianity. This ain't that. This ain't those Western. It's not Western spirituality. This ain't those Western religions. Okay, it don't work that way. We're way past beliefs. Okay, it's all about knowing. So if an individual goes ahead and they're like, hey, I'm about this, they're going to test you. Your answers are going to be like, okay, let's see if you're about that. And if you're about that, then you get the reward. If you ain't about that, well, like I said, you see what happens. Okay, so that's it. Okay, and no chaser. Sorry, but that's it. All right. But I want you to also understand this. It sounds harsh and everything, but it's really not. Okay, it's very beautiful. All right. Because when you actually go ahead and you get into this and you actually you understand what they're asking and you start doing this is when you start to see they come out, they help you, they assist you in developing in everything. Okay, your manifestation rituals work like that when you go ahead and you're on the right path. Okay, when you got your ancestors are backing you, just like that. Okay, it ain't even a matter of going ahead and doing a ritual or anything. It's a matter of, oh, let me go ahead and just change the way I'm thinking about this, and boom, there it is. It happens. Okay, things open up just like that. Okay, now, and again, this is because you're not dealing with it on that low. I almost said the bad word. This is because you're not dealing with it from that low level. Okay, don't want the YouTube gods to come and put a clamp on me. But like I said, when you're dealing with it from this other level, and you're dealing with it, you're dealing with the real, okay, and your ancestors are backing you, I guarantee you will appreciate it. Okay, you will appreciate the struggle. You will appreciate the fact that you had to give up certain things in order for you to do this. Okay, this is part of it. Okay, they want you to appreciate this. Okay, they're not going to give it to you just because you are their descendant. No. You got to work for it. Okay, and this is how you do it. All right. So anyway, like I said, hopefully that makes sense. If you got any questions, suggestions, or comments, like I said before, just go ahead and drop me a line. Okay. Until next time, fam. Head to poo. Peace.